It's only homeschooling. In our homeschool, we have a motto: education is a journey, not a destination. So relax, it's only homeschooling. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the podcast, Sowing the Seeds of Stewardship. My name is Kimberly Bennett, and I am your host. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for giving us a listen. A little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor turned homeschool mom of 1. I am also an advocate for homeschooling children with learning differences. For more of my story and background, feel free to listen to episode 1 or check out my website at itsonlyhomeschooling.com. Today, we're going to talk about something very near and dear to my heart: community outreach. While my years of professional counseling may be behind me, I unofficially retired from practice a decade ago when our son was born. I am still a helper at heart. Once a counselor, always a counselor. Although if I am really being honest, I believe the seed of stewardship was planted in me long before I sat across from my very first client. My late mama embodied a servant's heart. Generous almost to a fault, if Mama had $1, she'd give 99 cents to someone she felt had a greater need. If she didn't have $1, she'd open her door and welcome you to a meal at her table. A petite woman in size but not in spirit, Mama always favored the underdog and believed in second chances. My late daddy was a giant in stature but gentle in disposition. Born of humble beginnings, he valued education, personal responsibility, and self-reliance. He encouraged independence with a tender heart, extolling the virtues of teaching a man to fish. Neither physical disability nor chronic illness could damper his good-natured demeanor nor dull his quick wit. While their outward expressions of beneficence differed, my parents were in accord with their love of the Lord. They served in their own ways and with equivocal commitment and devotion. Of the many blessings my parents bestowed on me growing up, faith is by far the greatest. After the saving grace of Jesus Christ, I believe compassion, empathy, humor, and generosity were the gifts from which I reaped the deepest rewards. Following in my parents' footsteps, I joined a service organization in high school, which led to the blessing of a college scholarship. Throughout college, I studied psychology and worked alongside my late mama and late stepfather at a faith-based outreach program. After completing graduate school, I continued to work in various community agencies. Philanthropy is an integral part of my faith, and my faith is embedded in my identity. This same faith carried over into my marriage and later my parenting. Long before my husband and I chose curriculum, joined co-ops, or signed up for extracurricular activities, we made a conscious effort to foster a generous spirit in our son. We are voracious readers in our house, so the first stewardship seeds we planted were through bedtime stories. Some of our favorites included The Last Stop on Market Street by Matt de la Pena, Should I Share My Ice Cream by Mo Willems, and Stone Soup by John J. Muth. Next, we enlisted our son's help with separating clothes he had outgrown and culling his gently used toys and books before donating them to our local Goodwill. As our kiddo grew older, we branched out with service projects outside of the home. Throughout the year, we contributed to canned food drives through our church as part of his pre-K and kindergarten classes, and independently as a family to a local food bank. One local food bank even allowed our son to stack the canned goods and boxes of cereal on the shelves. He thought it was fun. We saw his seed watered. Although never enrolled in public school, we saved box tops for our nearby elementary school. We adopted Angels in Need every holiday season. We supported our local Toys for Tots. Once we made the decision to homeschool, we began researching curriculum options. We began by looking at our home state's requirements. In Texas, parents are required to teach the following: math, reading, spelling and grammar, and a course in good citizenship. Most of us, whether the product of public, private, or homeschool, have a general idea of what it means to be a good citizen, along with trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, and caring. It is one of the 6 pillars of character. Yet looking at these requirements, it seemed a simple approach to a complex subject. Public education had seemingly reduced the concept to a required course in civics and government. Granted, a working knowledge of government, coupled with a solid background in our nation's diverse history, should foster responsible and educated citizens. Educated citizens who will one day be eligible to vote for and serve as public servants. Scrolling through the pages of online education stores, we found plenty of resources under the category of character education. Values are important. They're important for a person to be successful and healthy, not only as an individual, but also as a member of society as a whole. But whose values were we talking about here, and which value system? We weren't faulting Texas standards. We were grateful for the freedom to explore the concept as we saw fit. We wondered how the teaching of something as big as character could be reduced to a simple requisite course. We saw it as an abstract concept with a deeper and more profound meaning. How do you reduce something as big as personal values to objectives, lesson plans, and workbook exercises? Public schools across the nation have tried. They have attempted to tackle the task of teaching such an abstract concept by implementing character education programs or good citizenship training. Granted, as a society, we must start somewhere. Yet these efforts often lack a few essential ingredients for success, namely 3: personal connection, theological foundation, and parental authority. Simply put, teachers cannot be parents. By law, schools must refrain from promoting one set of moral standards over another. Teachers are duty-bound to place equal emphasis and respect on all systems of thought. It begs the question, how can schools teach character without ascribing to a, or any, set of guidelines for ethical reasoning and decision-making? Ironically, embedded in the very definition of character is the moral or ethical quality of a person. Morals, a person's system of beliefs concerning acceptable and unacceptable behavior, are intertwined with, and some would say inseparable from, spirituality. In the absence of an environment where one can openly and safely share and discuss matters of faith, how do we mold a child's moral compass? The authors of The Well-Trained Mind, Jesse Wise and Susan Wise Bauer, ponder, how can one teach values, morals, and character minus its most essential component, the component of context? So how then do you provide the context? Well, this is where parents come in. And strangely enough, the very role public education is now trying to steal from parents. No, thank you. I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly comfortable with the thought of co-parenting with the government. The teaching of morals and values is a daily life lesson that is nurtured by, and in turn nurtures, the parent-child relationship. As a family of faith, character education is inherent in our core beliefs. From the Lord's covenant with Israel in the 10 Commandments to the living water of Jesus Christ, Scripture guides our daily lives. Throughout the Bible, God demonstrates His character through intimate encounters with His children. In turn, Jesus follows the Father's example of revealing bits of His own character during His interactions with others by forging a ministry of unconditional love and deeply personal connection. As parents, we are living examples of our value system. We model character to our children from the first moment they enter this world. The struggles we experience when faced with decisions that call our convictions into question, and more importantly, how we overcome said struggles, provide powerful, lasting lessons. Through this dance of one step forward and two steps back, we impart to our children what it means to be truly human. In this humanness, we offer our children a front row seat to observe the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful sides of human nature. While we strive to be the best we can be, inevitably we will stumble and perhaps even fall. Yet, the beauty of our Creator's unconditional love means we have hope. Each new day is filled with fresh opportunities to illustrate God's love through our words and deeds. Grace renewed, ever abundant, ever present. Beyond the books, my husband and I felt to adequately teach character, our homeschool must also embody a servant's heart. Stewardship is central not only to our Christian faith, but also to good citizenship. As the entrusted keepers of all God's creation, including His earth, His creatures, and most importantly, His people, it is our duty to sow the seeds of stewardship for the next generation, by starting with watering the seed we planted. In the busyness of life, it can be easy to overlook opportunities to serve others. My personal commitment, whether serving through my church or independently in my home, ebbs and flows. Just like I must get into a routine of making time for the Lord with a daily commitment of beginning my day in prayer and worship, I must also set the example of being a good steward for my son. As part of that example, I would like to shine a light on and spread the good news about the good deeds of some amazing outreach organizations, both local to the DFW area and across the globe. As believers, we are instructed to be salt and light. In ancient times, salt was a valuable commodity. Greeks considered salt to be divine. Roman soldiers were paid in salt. Salt was used to preserve meat before refrigeration. Salt adds flavor and stops decay. But it can also sting if rubbed into a wound. As Christians, we are to be the salt of the earth, seasoning our words, thoughts, and deeds in a manner that will make others thirst for knowledge of our Savior. Light illuminates, chasing away the darkness. Christ was the ultimate light of the world. As Christians, we are to bear testimony to the presence of Christ in our lives. Paul said, "Believers, you are to shine as light in the world." Philippians 2:15. In September, we launched our newest blog series at It's Only Homeschooling, the Salt and Light Spotlight. Each month, we feature a different community outreach program. Our hope is to bring awareness to these organizations and encourage support. Blog posts feature on the first Friday of every month. Podcast episodes will feature once a month. As a service project for our homeschool family, I am including my son in these podcasts. While neither part of a formal curriculum nor found in any workbook, my sincerest hope is the project itself will ignite a spark for my son to have a servant's heart. By sharing our experience with others, I hope to further fan the flames of philanthropy. Service does not have to look like the grand gestures you will see us highlight in our Salt and Light Spotlight series. Outreach can come in many forms. The smallest gesture of kindness can carry the greatest weight. Join us in Episode 3 for our very first Salt and Light Spotlight podcast episode. Come listen as we highlight a community outreach program that has been warming homeless hearts in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for more than 20 years. Philip's Wish. In Episode 3, we will talk with the founder of Philip's Wish, Miss Cindy Bunch. We'll also hear from its only homeschooling kid, Jay, about his experiences with volunteering. Tune in to Episode 3 on Wednesday, September 28th for teachable moments beyond the textbooks. There is great comfort in community. With the It's Only Homeschooling podcast, we invite your family to join ours for life lessons beyond the classroom. And remember, education is a journey, not a destination. Until we meet again, take a deep breath and relax. It's only homeschooling.